That's cool. Nope, because you ain't over here. You are. This man is crazy. I didn't say that. I haven't even went on yet. How's everybody doing today? Thank you for joining Chatty Queen's Brunch Club on today. And we are continuing our conversation from last week, but we still got a whole lot of good questions going on here. Um, I do want to jump right in because we ended on a real good note, and I don't want to waste any time because we are late getting started today. Oh no, I'm on the wrong live. Hold on, just give me a second, guys. We are late getting started today, and you said we stopped where? At what point? Because we were just talking about that. You were just giving us the point where we got heated.
We're talking about being independent
Oh yeah, being
and
independent.
what qualities we're looking for in a woman.
Hold on. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we left off at last week talking about being independent and qualities that men look for in a woman. And I think that that's where it started the biggest debate, and everybody started talking about how being independent can sometimes take away from um, the relationship, and how a man could view a woman, not giving them a chance to get close to them or um, do anything for them. And it also takes away from their position as a man. So they're unable to be their full selves or be a man in a relationship, which I don't think is true. I think when you have a role in a relationship, I didn't get water. Still, when you have a role in a relationship, I think that you should fulfill your role either way. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing or has going on. I think that if you are a specific person, don't let anybody change you. Why a woman being independent can become so intimidating to a man?
I know why.
Why? You seem to have all the answers.
I don't have all the answers, but certain things I do know the answer to. When I stated last week, men want women that are independent to a certain degree, meaning you're independent, but also allowing a man to do his job.
Mm-hmm.
A man wants to feel that he's the protector, he's the provider, and all that. So the worst thing a woman can do to a man is demasculate him.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if you're doing my role, then what purpose do I serve if you're trying to play the women's role and the man's role?
What's the role now?
It's common sense, like the protector, the provider. Men are supposed to lead.
I think men get things twisted, and I think they get it confused as to what their parts are. They are the protector, they are the provider.
A real man
But
knows what his responsibility is. A man that
I'm asking.
does not know.
I'm asking.
I told
What's
you,
a real man's responsibility?
making sure he's taking care of his kids.
Okay, that's what a woman does too. Keep going.
Make sure he takes care of the household.
A woman does that too.
A woman does that too, but the man is supposed to take care of the house.
How? I'm just asking. Get descriptive.
Pay the bills.
So a man is supposed to pay all the bills.
I'm not saying
I'm
pay
just,
all.
hey, I'm trying to get to
it
where.
It depends on the relationship. Some relationships, some marriages, some split the bill. Some where the men pay the bill, the bigger bill, the women pay the cheaper bills. It all depends on how your relationship is set up.
But
you have men who aren't doing anything, where they're living off the woman.
That's true.
The woman's leading. The women's leading the household. We both go to church, though. Naturally, the man is supposed to be the head of the household. The man is supposed to lead, and the woman's supposed to follow. But what's going on now is the woman is leading.
Because we both work. What is the difference now? That's why I was asking you to get more descriptive on the roles. So if a woman is supposed to, well, what are we supposed to do? What is her role now? Now, in this day, the man is supposed to take out the garbage, pay the bills, pump the gas.
If it's cold outside, warm your wife car or girl car up before when it's cold outside.
Okay, those are men's responsibilities. How is that independence of a woman pumping her own gas intimidating? We can't
never
always
said
take
that
you
was.
guys with us. We can't. What are you speaking of when you say we step in with our independence and don't allow you to play your role? What exactly are you talking about?
You have women who are independent, meaning who are go getters, where they can do everything themselves. You have women who may not be independent at all, where they're just totally relying on a man. Then you might have a woman that's in between independent, where they're independent to a certain degree, but they will also allow a man to come in and do his job, do his role. What I'm speaking of is the role of a woman who's too independent, where I don't need a man to do nothing for me. I can do it on my own. Like men don't. That's a turnoff for a man. Well, if you can do everything by yourself, then you might as well be alone. Because it seems like you want to be alone. That's intimidated for. I'm not against a woman getting her own, working, getting your butter. I'm fine with that, but also be enough to allow a man to come in and feel like he's a man. Where that's a turnoff.
So if a man has say, look, I want to fill up your tank this week. I want to make sure this is taken care of, so you don't have to do it.
Why be on the defense about that?
So,
why not let him do that?
So you're saying just don't be on the defense about what it is that a man is trying to do for you. Allow him to do what he likes to do for you. Basically. Okay, that's all. That's all I was trying to get to the bottom of it.
So you were starting already.
Hey, I just got questions. So we were also talking about the leading reasons for divorce nowadays. And I think there's up to maybe 6 reasons.
I said 4.
I think 6.
What is the reason?
What are your 6?
I didn't say I had 6. I said I think that it has to be at least 6. Cheating.
Okay.
Domestic abuse. Why can't I talk today?
Okay.
Cheating, domestic violence, differences, just plain old differences. Drug use.
I'll put mental illness in there as well.
Mental illness, narcissism. Must I go on?
A lot of those can piggyback on top of each other, though.
Right, but I'm saying there's at least, because they're big reasons.
True. I won't take none of those from you.
I'm just, you said 4. I said at least 6, and I know it's more than that. Leading reasons, because I'm looking at Tia and her husband, and I've been watching it for the last. Oh God, that hit me sideways.
See, and why?
Because she a good woman. What's wrong with him?
But what makes you think
she let him be the man? All that.
But what makes you not think that he wasn't a good man? See, at the end of the day, they both came out and just said they just grew apart.
No, he did. She did, not him. To my understanding, he's not with it. It's her. She wants a divorce.
Okay, so she wants a divorce.
Right.
Meaning that there's just some things that he does or he's done that she can't get past. It could be the way he lives. It could be the fact that he's not a go-getter like he used to be. It could be that she just found something
got
different.
A new spot.
He just may not. They may have both. He may have grown and she hasn't, or vice versa.
No.
True.
I mean, it could be. Think about it. People do grow, and they does. Sometimes people can get comfortable with the place that they are, because that may be all they ever achieved to go to is where they are now, and they're happy there. Meanwhile, the other person may want to continue to keep going and growing and, being more than what it is. Tia has always been a person who you see on TV often. She's always busy. Mm-hmm. Maybe he had an issue with her being gone. Maybe a family, a stay-at-home family, where the nucleus is always there, is what he's always wanted, and she wants to dive back into her career. Because you got to remember, she's been in front of the camera since they were kids. Okay? And that's probably just how she always thinks and lives, and just wants to continue to be in front of the camera. He just wants his wife at home. So he may constantly have an issue with that. Until they both sit down and publicly say why they didn't work, we're never going to know the true reason.
We're going off assumptions.
Right. But as the courts of public opinion, the first thing everybody always jumps to is he was cheating. He had somebody else. He feels, emasculated because she's probably more of the breadwinner than he is. We will always assume that there'll be something that's just, oh my God, I can't believe that they're over. When at the same time, they have the same issues we have all the time too. So until they both say why it ended, for all we know, she could have cheated.
And why is it always?
And the guilt eating away at
And
her.
No, they
and why is
confirmed
it
that
always
it
the
wasn't
man?
cheating.
Why you always assume
It's him.
cheating?
It's him.
How do you
Because
always
she-
assume that?
Why does it have to be him?
Because the
Did she
facts
say that?
the facts are
What are the facts?
the facts that
And-
we see.
No,
All
no.
no,
Here,
no, because they're very, very open about
but
their
here's
relationship.
But here's my thing. We all say the facts are in regards to it, but the only two people who know the true facts, even though they're very open, everything is not for public consumption. Let's go back to another relationship that everybody was kind of shocked ended. Megan Good and her husband.
I wasn't shocked at all.
Some people were shocked about it.
I was not shocked at that one.
I didn't think it was gonna work.
I
Just-
was not
I said that
shocked at all with him.
I just can't see her with a preacher.
Mm-mm.
So that just like I want to see how long this is gonna last with the what's the preacher name? Keon in
Pastor
Texas
Keon.
with
I don't.
Shaq
And
wife.
Shawnee.
I don't.
I wanna
That's
see how-
not. I
I
don't
don't
see
pay
it.
attention
I don't see it, and I see that
But
there's
why
like
is
a
it?
like an
but why
infatuation
is it-
going on
But
between them.
why is it that it's? Oh, I knew that they were going to get divorced compared to the Tia situation. Nobody should be okay with divorce.
Yeah.
Everybody should be dating with the intentions of getting married, and everybody should be married for the long haul. But we ask people in the courts of public opinion to be like, "Oh, I knew they were going to get divorced."
You can't tell me that when you see two people get together that you don't have your own personal opinion and see their indifferences before it even happens.
But how do you know that they don't know how to work through their indifferences?
Because you look just like you just said, Megan Good and her husband.
At
You
the
can
end of the
see
day-
that at the
At the end of the day, Megan Good and her husband
She was
ended
trying her
because
hardest.
she wanted to basically be herself. She knew what she was
Yeah.
getting into to begin with. She chose him for his reasons.
he chose her,
She said yes, didn't she? Megan Good don't have to say yes.
but she was trying something different. Megan was trying to be saved so hard.
You can be saved without being married to a pastor.
No, you can, but he just requires so much out of her.
And she knew that when she got into
He was
it.
never going to get used to her lifestyle. You can see the indifferences in the beginning.
And that's at the
She
end of the day.
don't want to be saved
At
like
the,
that.
at the end of the day,
Wearing skirts every day. Then the church was
at
against
the
her.
end of the day, that is on them two for not having proper communication. You jumped into a marriage. You knew that there was going to be requirements, and he, at the end of the day, he should have had his conversations with her. What I expect of you.
So, do you really think that they didn't have any communication at all?
You're gonna sit
The
here
type
and
of
tell,
person that he is.
you're gonna sit here and tell me that as a pastor, and you know the kind of church that he's in, and the requirements and the roles that you have to play as a pastor's wife,
The image you have to have.
the image you have to uphold and maintain. That she was like, I can do this. Knowing not only the life that she came from, because you know some people change from what they were. You can't judge them when they pass. But you are a celebrity at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Whether you never do another movie again or you only do the BET Lifetime Tyler Perry movies, at the end of the day, you're still a celebrity.
Mhm.
So you're still going to be in that world. And no matter how hard you try to be a Christian in that world, temptation is even stronger in Hollywood than anywhere else in the world. Okay? She knew what she was going into. So unless she chose to completely walk away from that lifestyle in all aspects and 100% accept this role over here, you were always going to backslide.
Yeah, she backslid on
And-
day one.
And the fact of the matter is that was conversations that should have been had before the I do's even happened. There's a reason why when you get ready to get married, most pastors will require you to go to couples counseling before you say the I do's.
And they should have went through it.
We went through it, both ends, spiritual and the
Right.
regular.
There's a
But the
requirement.
thing
In those
about,
cases, there's a requirement.
but that doesn't mean it always works.
No, it doesn't. I'm not saying that.
Ain't nothing
One
glitter
thing-
and gold just
One
because you
thing
do
that I
that.
think a lot of people leave out the equation when it comes to divorce is financial stability.
Hmm.
Society,
That's the big one.
yeah, it's a big one. And a lot of people, I won't even say a lot of people. I'm not even going to talk about other race, creeds, and colors because I can't speak of their lifestyles.
I can never.
But in the Black community, we are quick to do everything out of love. But look at other cultures when they choose to marry financially first and fall in love later. Not even trying to be funny. Literally, like earlier this week, a poll came across my desk. I can't remember how I got it. 61% of all arranged marriages last more than 20 plus years.
Really?
Yes. 61% of all arranged marriages last past 20 plus years.
And you can ready to tell why.
Because one of the biggest issues that causes divide in a relationship is financial stability. It's to the point right now where people are out here dating based on that bag. How much money you got or how you making money attracts me to you more than anything else. There are women out here, not even being funny, who was like, they have a type that they like. But if he has a bag, they'll throw a few of those things out the window for him. He may not look good as I want him to do. He may have a belly when I like muscular men, but if he's financially stable, I can work around that. Which meaning you can fall in love with who that person is if 97% of the things you stress about is off the table. If I can come home, my bills are paid, I got money in my savings account, not just your checking account, money in my savings account, and we can plan a vacation within the next 6 to 9 months to go somewhere outside of what I see in everyday life, I am more likely to do whatever you are into, simply because majority of things that my friends are stressing over, I don't have to. There's a lot of women who are okay with their men having a chick on the side because there's financial responsibility she don't have to worry about.
And the lifestyle that they've been accustomed to.
Their lifestyle, as long as my lifestyle that I am in now is maintained, keep your bitches in check, is all they will say.
Dang.
And those are marriages that tend to last longer because that point in time when the love done went down, when being around you irritates my soul because we've been around each other entirely too much, that relationship is more likely to go get therapy.
It sounds like you're saying as long as that man is pleased, the relationship gonna last longer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
See, y'all live off the theory of happy wife, happy life.
It's true.
No.
That's ridiculous.
Mistake number one.
That sounds crazy.
Mistake number one. That's a one-sided conversation. It should be happy spouse, happy house, meaning that the man needs to be just as happy.
Especially if you're the breadwinner, the head of the household, you should be trying to please him. We had this conversation
last week that if I do everything I'm supposed to do, I do everything I'm supposed to, where's my prize in all of this?
That has never been left out in these conversations.
I'm just saying.
We never left out. We said from the beginning that it don't take all that for us to love a man. Most times, because we hard working women. We gotta get up, cook breakfast, clean up after breakfast, wash clothes, cook, clean. And if it's children involved, you got detailed things going on. Put them in the tub, get them clean, make sure everything is straight for school, packing lunches. It never stops. There should be gifts. Men need to learn how to give gifts.
But see how
make sure that everything is in place.
Did you just hear how everything that you just said was about how you are happy? Now the kids are good, the house is clean, food is made.
That's what a man wants.
But you just said nothing about the man.
That helps the man. He don't have to do none of that.
I'm not being selfish, but you taking care of the kids does not benefit me.
I gotta take care of the kids too.
So how that benefit me?
I take care of the kids
cleaning
too.
And washing.
I can cook.
No, but if that's what the woman is majorly doing, you should be happy at home. Coming home to a clean house and everything is taken care of. Yes. You gotta have some type of mental illness or something.
No,
because it's other stuff that's going on with that. Okay. You making sure you got a woman that know how to cook, clean, and take care of the house.
Okay.
And paying half on bills or helping you.
So let's take
and you can do all. What I'm saying is you can clean a house, take care of the kids, cook, wash his drawers. At the end of the day, that man still could be unhappy.
Because you just named everything he can do. And if he can't do it, he can pay somebody to do it.
But last week, y'all literally just said women don't do that no more.
They don't.
They don't.
So if that's not what's gonna make you happy, then what's the big deal?
We come to that conclusion that y'all not. That's just it's a different generation. Y'all not gonna do that.
Okay. So let's take this in consideration.
I know a lot of women who do.
We have to take it.
What's their ages?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to take into consideration.
Same age range and older.
And you are
40
over
and up. 40 and up.
You are over 30 though, right?
Yes.
A 30-year-old mind state in the generation now who's 30, 35 and under is different. It's a different mind state.
That shouldn't even be what y'all worried about though, because you're not dating nobody that young.
There's
might.
people there. We might.
I'm only
Number one,
36.
That's
and
what I said. You might.
and number two, you got to remember the people who listen to your shows or who are listening to these conversations are not only 35 and up.
True.
You have to take in consideration that there's people who listen to this show who are 22, 24. So when you make suggestions and you're speaking into regards to relationships downfalls, you have to look at what different perspectives that each people are in. There's a lot of women who are in the category of only 25 years old who are saying that men ain't shit. Like, you 25, you haven't
Ain't
seen.
true.
You
You
haven't
haven't
experienced no man
you
that
haven't
say men ain't
seen-
shit.
There's all kind of men out here. It's
You
just what
haven't-
we willing to do.
Exactly. And that's another thing. What kind of men are y'all looking for? Because I've always been told you can't find a quality person if you're looking in non-quality areas.
Mm.
You can't expect that the man you find
You
on
can't even
social
find a
media.
man at church no more. And these women out here got it bad.
No. Because I go to the club and stuff.
Y'all
and go
do
right to
know
church.
that men in church know that they are the catch in church.
Really?
Think about it. Majority of the women that are in church are, most cases, when they're there by themselves, are usually single women, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're listening to what the pastor's saying and you're following what the Bible says, a lot of women have developed this, I hate to say this, pick me mentality, where I'll do all the things I need to get a good man.
Looking at it.
I get all the, show me the lie though. In most cases, they do. They're eager to cater to a man. Let a new man walk into your church and watch how friendly a lot of the women at your church are.
You know, I was raised in church and never felt like that ever.
And you just said something about
Not one day.
And he just said something about the financial stability about divorce. There's two things. Another reason why people get divorced, either the financial part of that, or two, simply people don't want to be alone. Just don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
Now I agree with that.
People just don't want to be alone.
A lot of people don't want to be alone.
Some people
You
okay
stay
with-
somewhere.
People
a long
don't know
time. Yeah.
How to be
live
alone. To
Yeah.
live alone. They always
There's
gotta,
people who want to be alone. They don't know how to be alone.
Yeah.
people that get married multiple marriages. At that point, they just ain't that the relationship don't work out. Just they don't want to be alone.
Yeah. 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 I don't want to talk about no personal stuff here because I was just getting ready to ask a question, but
I'm just saying people just don't want to be alone.
You can ask
But it ain't always divorce. Ain't always about
infidelity.
cheating, infidelity. Some people can be not happy,
Just not happy.
and a lot of reasons why people stay around longer are because of the kids. Most of the time, people will endure certain stuff because of the kids.
so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and ask the question I was gonna ask then, since you said go and ask it.
Yeah, go ahead. There's no reason
Do
not
you
to.
feel more comfortable in a relationship? Can you be alone or in a relationship? Can you be alone?
Yes. The reason
There are more men who could be alone than women that could be alone.
I don't
I
agree
think
with
so.
that.
Here-
I don't even
No,
come
no.
from that.
I think
The
you,
women I was raised around can be alone and take care of themselves.
Let me
and all
ask you this
that. It
question.
ain't like that it won't have a man.
A
Don't
lot-
mind having a man, but he gonna have to be a good one.
a lot of I partially agree with what he said. And here's the reason why I have to say partially agree. Men are, remember, we're taught to be providers to the point where we have to be independent and we got to have a lot of ducks in a row. Not
Mhm.
all the ducks, but a lot of ducks in a row. Okay. Some of the things that we ask for, we only ask for it because we don't want to do it, not that we can't do it. We don't want to clean up our houses, which is why if you ever go to a single man's house, it's very minimal stuff there. You won't have nothing on the wall because we don't want to have to care about none of that. We have basic furniture because we don't want to have to care about all that additional accessory stuff. We live a very minimalistic lifestyle because we don't want to care about that. As long as I got my basics in my house, I'm perfectly happy in my house. Okay? We know how to cook. We just don't want to cook. At the end of the day, we're not going to make no big glorious meal because who do we have to feed? Just ourselves. So we eat based on only what we need to do. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we don't. We'll rather go spend money on dates and then take somebody out and go out and eat and then instead of making big, huge meals and inviting you back to our crib because ain't nothing in our house anyway. Then, there's nothing in our crib anyway. Go to a single man's house and watch how basic it looks
Dang.
because we don't care about that,
Yeah.
which is why we're okay with being alone. Do we want companionship? Most definitely. But we also know we can buy it if we wanted to.
Oh my.
We won't
gosh.
openly admit it,
That's bad.
but we could.
Why you look like that?
He ain't saying nothing.
Today we
He
can
ain't
buy
telling the truth.
companionship. We don't have to go through the effort of doing it. We just do. Now, women, on the other hand, yes, a lot of y'all are taught to be independent, but you're also taught that when you get a good man, you're supposed to submit to that good man. So you eventually have to live on your own, but be prepared to have your life change in one shape or form. So whether or not you changing your life to be with a man or changing your life to be a parent, you're eventually taught that you have to be prepared for whatever happens, whatever changes go on in your life. We not taught that. We was like, hey, when you find somebody you like her, put a ring on it. And make sure she stay happy.
I got a question.
I got an answer.
Do you think that after a man disrespect a woman that it could ever go back to being like it was before he ever disrespected her?
Depending on what the disrespect is.
Well, I can counteract that question. Can a man accept the fact that a woman disrespected him?
Because
we got to answer that.
He just wanted a better chair.
No, y'all teaming up on me.
No, I'm just saying you just made that every question you asking the same question we can ask you all.
No, but you have to answer the question first.
Let me ask you, what is the level of disrespect?
What if it could be cheating? It can be the B word.
Okay, some women talk like that. Depending on, you got to know your mate, because there are some types of conversations that women speak within a certain way, and if a man speaks in that same kind of language for her to understand it, she may not take offense to it. I know people right now who has no problem saying, "Oh, that's my bitch over there," and she be, "Okay, daddy." That's how they talk. So it depends on the situation. The cheating thing, I think a lot of people put too much emphasis on the cheating part, because if he stepped out on her, accountability on both parts need to be placed into it.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say on both parts, because yes, there are times where men be like, "That's a fat ass, I want it." Okay, you got the right to knock that nigga beside his head because he know better.
Right.
Okay, but there's also those times when she has denied this man thrice times and he has done nothing to deserve to be denied other than the fact that you just don't want him anymore. So you're not willing to have conversations with him. You're not willing to work on situations. You just don't want to give him none. He stepped out on you. Chick at work, bought him a drinks and he was having a bad day, slipped him a Mickey. Now they at home enjoying, happy time. He comes home and tells you that he stepped out on you. Now you want to go get divorced because he's out here. He put his penis to somebody else, but he only went that direction because you denied him. Accountability.
Are you making that make sense?
It happens a lot, though. It happens a lot. All I'm saying is,
so if you're not giving,
I'm not justifying what he did.
You tell your man no at home, then he out cheating for sure.
No, cheating.
Okay.
Some men will fight as much through it as much as possible.
But men will also give you signs when they're fed up too.
Yup. Just like
signs
y'all
like
would
what?
That you ignore it.
What's the signs?
If you see your man watching porn a lot.
Oh.
I'm trying to give one that's not a direct talking about anybody. If you find your man watching porn a lot,
mm-hmm.
Okay? A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Ask your man why he watching it so much.
And not watching it with you.
Oh.
Or when you find that your man is okay, when you finally in the mood.
When you finally in the mood, you ever seen with it? I don't want to use that example, but
use it.
Tyler Perry half night when she wanted to sleep with Marcus, and Marcus like, not tonight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's not in the mood. Doesn't necessarily mean he's cheating at that point in time. It's just that you denied him so much, he doesn't desire it from you no more.
And then you have to talk about.
We told the man no so many times before he's not going to pursue it.
And then you say about disrespecting the relationship. You got to find what the relationship is. This is a relationship or is a marriage, because there's certain things you can't compare a marriage to a relationship, because there's certain things I don't want to say put up with, but there's certain things you have to endure in a marriage that you don't have to endure in a relationship.
That's true.
Meaning
there's a different level.
There's a different level of commitment that's made in a marriage than it is in a relationship. Relationship, you do something stupid, you can leave. I'm out of here.
And that's
marriage. You have more of a long-term commitment.
You have to.
You just can't walk away from it.
You have to work through it.
And even
you don't have to.
And sometimes even infidelity in
I
marriages,
feel like you have to
that.
work through it. What I mean by work through it, meaning you have to acknowledge that there's a problem.
Yeah.
You have to acknowledge their problem, and you have to at least express in one shape or form how you feel and how we got here. Now, if you feel like, okay, I hear what you're saying, that's just something I'm not going to bend on, then now we may have some questions and concerns we need to work out. But if you feel like your relationship is rocky, or it's not the way it used to be, or he doesn't love me like he used to, or she's not doing what she used to, you need to acknowledge these things. You need to communicate with these things. I don't even go to therapy if you need to. Go by yourself or go together. Whatever the case may be, when it's a marriage, there has to be work that must be done. I think that's the biggest reasons why a lot of people don't want to get married. No, it's not the fear of cheating, because if you and your partner is on the same page, cheating is damn near almost not even part of the equation. Damn near. If you guys are on the same page with a lot of stuff, I don't see the need.
It's not going to even happen, right?
It's not going to be an equation. I don't see the need to see nobody else, because no matter what this person does, I'm not risking what I already have over here.
There you go.
I'm going to lose way more over here than I could possibly gain over here.
Yeah.
But when this over here starts to go down because it's not the same effort, now this over here looks like it's more pleasable.
My question came from, I was looking on my feed and I saw something that said, my ex taught me that the more chances that you give someone, the less they value you.
That's not necessarily
They're not afraid
true.
to lose you because they know that no matter what you do or what they do, you won't walk away. We're talking about getting too comfortable and just in there, getting too comfortable with you and getting too comfortable disrespecting you. So the minute you allow something that I think disrespect is something that you allow that you typically wouldn't. So if you know your standards, you know it's something that I would never do. And like I said before, you have to be with a person for a while to even understand them and really get to know them. You can't go and meet somebody and then just say, this is who I want to be with. You're never going to know. Unless you really do love somebody.
That's what dating is now, right?
That's what dating is now.
Right. That's the problem with dating right now. So we've already come with one solution. Number one, we're jumping into relationships and putting titles on it too quickly, or we're out here having fun and refusing to put titles to put restraints and requirements on relationships. Because if I'm sitting here just going with the flow, I don't have to respect your boundaries because we haven't created them to begin with.
I just said it last week. What men and women don't do, they don't make their intentions clear what they want.
Exactly.
We don't make your
Which is what you think happened with Megan Good and her husband.
I definitely can see that.
That's what it reminds me of.
I think his intentions was put on the table, and because she wanted to be perceived differently, she accepted it, knowing that's not what she wanted.
What I will say about Megan Good, which people I fought for, people have also judged Megan Good based upon her roles. She's done interviews about that, where people when you see Megan Good's roles in the movie that she's played, she come off like she wears sexy stuff. She's cocky and all that, but that's not her.
I don't think she's cocky at all.
But that's not. But people, when people don't know you in Hollywood, they're just going off of what you did in that movie. Just like the guy that was dating married to Jill Scott in the movie. Everybody hate him, but you don't even know the dude.
Right, but the character, right, and that's why I say, even like with Tia and what's happening with Corey, her husband, I really feel like this is something that was a long time coming, but they kept it private. And it was something that they probably didn't want to come out in public about, which is fine. But some things you just can't hide. Just like we can speak on Megan Good and her divorce, I feel like a lot of things with Tia and Corey, I think they both have demonstrated some things where we saw it coming anyway. She will put it, she's like, their personalities are just way so different. I mean, first of all, but she can put him out there. They'll do like a little video. She'll put him on the TV and like start taping him and recording him and putting him on IG, and he just sit there like.
I think a lot of people looked at that show BET did called Black Love, where they were interviewing a lot of African American couples in the industry and talking about how you guys are lasting, how this is good, how you first met, and theirs was a very typical, basic how we met story that most people in the African American community can relate to.
We can relate to that.
But the funniest thing about it is if you ever go back and you watch that, Viola Davis's marriage was probably the most realist out of all of them because she admitted, like,
She told it.
I didn't want to be with him at first.
But she said
worked
she
to get this.
said
He worked to get here.
she was
He
very
had to earn me,
transparent.
you know?
Yes.
And I
Mhm.
feel like that's more realistic of what a relationship is because
I agree.
if you work in the beginning before you commit to that person, you build a bond. A lot of people don't build bonds. They go based off of sexual gratification and trauma bonds. Whereas in you two have been through something traumatic in both your lives, and either A, you're using each other as a crutch to never be in this situation again, or you understand and you know, ooh, I can save him, or ooh, I can make sure that she don't never have to worry about this situation ever again.
But shouldn't that be the point though?
Not if it's traumatically behind it. If you're going to be here and be this person's savior and protector, you also got to be able to help them do the work too. I can sit here. You came from a domestic violence relationship, and because you don't never want to have anybody that ever put their hands on you again, you're gonna go and date the nicest person who walks the ground, who loves the ground you walk on. That doesn't mean that that's a healthy relationship because you've never worked through your problems from the last relationship. So every single time he tries to want to get close and intimate to you, it's a pull away situation. It's I don't want to do this here. Everything is triggering for you. He has to walk on pins and needles, but because he's always been in love with you is the reason why you're with him because you know he wants you. So you feel valued because he's crazy over you. But then eventually he'll grow up and realize like, yo, this is not good. This is not healthy. Now you're reciprocating the violence. Now you're being the aggressor in the situation because you never worked through the previous thing. That's a trauma bond right there.
I think it'll be a trauma bond for a very long time for people who've been through specific trauma.
True, and I'm not saying that, but in that relationship, one of the biggest things that should have started in the beginning was let's get you therapy. Let's get you help. Let's get you into some other domestic violence groups. Let's not necessarily make you not be the victim anymore, but let's you understand that this is not your fault.
Well, sometimes sometimes you don't see the side of people until you are really deep into further into
That's what I just said. It takes
sometimes
years.
it can take years. It can take years for you to know somebody crazy or they bipolar. Right. You know, maybe when they first meet you, they taking medication. Then after a while, they get comfortable enough where they stop taking care of medication. Then now you see this whole side. That's why I say if you can get past marriage, you can get past year 7. You home great because it usually takes 7 years.
You can make it past the first 5 years of your marriage because you technically should have been dating for about 2 or 3 before you even proposed.
I agree.
You get that whole 7 years of understanding. And then once you reach that point, you technically should not be having the same problems. Most marriages don't make it past the first 5 years because the platform of why they're married is even put together properly. You can't come into a broken foundation with another broken foundation and expect to build a 3-story house.
Can't heal each other.
You know, I mean, you can, but at the same time,
that's gonna be difficult.
It's a
a lot of times
you can't spackle everything.
A lot of times, the first year of their marriages is about it's most of the time it's about finances.
It is.
Y'all don't spend $20,000-$30,000 on the wedding, and then you stand in an apartment. Versus if you just did something simple and small and had a big house, you can do a big wedding later.
I tell everybody
our priorities are thinking. Other cultures, they don't do that.
They don't.
They don't do that. They don't spend 23. Basically, a wedding is you're spending $20,000-$30,000, whatever you pay for other people to see you spend your special day.
Right.
Marriage in America, marriage in the African American community is not following the tradition status because in some cultures, number one, a man and a woman don't just get married. It has to be, first of all, the man's supposed to go to the father and ask for permission. Because at the end of the day, this man has to give over his daughter. This man, the father, is supposed to actually make sure that this man is financially stable, emotionally stable, and is going to treat his daughter right.
Right.
Okay? At the end of the day, that's what they're supposed to do. Now, of course, in the African American community, unfortunately, we have a lot of absentee fathers.
I was going there.
So that step immediately gets thrown out the window before you even had an opportunity. Okay? But there still should be somebody of a parental status who should step in and make sure that, is this what you want? Okay, now I'm not talking about the nosy auntie who she ain't never been able to find a good man, so misery loves company. Not that woman.
I
Even
know
though
it's true now.
you got. I'm not saying it's not always true.
Listen, auntie ain't got to have no man to give that advice.
You know, but hey, you can't be sitting here
All
telling
she
us.
need is experience.
We come to find out, auntie best friend.
While she's single right now, she got
She
that
ain't
experience.
She ain't single. Her
Yes.
girlfriend who keep coming to Thanksgiving is more than just a girlfriend. So we not gonna talk about that. But no, the family is not strong in the Black community anymore.
It's not.
And that's,
Especially when the matriarchs of the family have passed on. Most families, they matriarch, like our family, all our grandmothers who raised us. They, I come from a family. It was 10 siblings, 10, 11 siblings. So when all of those siblings pass, that traditionalism goes away with them.
Yeah.
facts.
When Big Mama and them die, that goes away with them. So family, after you lose your grandparents, the family will never. When you have matriarchs in your family that pass away, your life is never the same anymore.
And
that's why you gotta keep building that, continue to build that legacy.
But we don't
pass it down.
The minute our cousin is fuck niggas, we don't want to deal with that side of the family no more. Because our dad wasn't actively there in our lives, our father's side of the family is not putting forth that effort to bring that kid over here anyway. We are separating and we are allowing the community to be broken. The minute your teenage daughter has now gotten pregnant, you want to disown her instead of bringing the boy into the family now too.
And sometimes the brokenness, it starts at birth.
It do.
You're born into some crap.
Right.
You don't even.
Because I have two little girls, and I hate to say my oldest, she's only 9. She's boy crazy. Like my youngest just admitted to us last week that not only did my oldest have a boyfriend, but she found out that he had another girlfriend.
What?
A little Hispanic boy.
We gotta bring them on.
Little Hispanic boy at that. So I just want y'all to know, women, that cheating goes across all color lines. So stop saying that niggas ain't shit. No, it's men in general. Okay, little boy. But at the same time, my daughter she wants to emulate the love that she's seen that me and her mom has.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we love each other out loud.
Mm-hmm.
No problem whatsoever. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, she wants the same thing. She expects a relationship to be like that. So knock on wood, I hope I'm praying that she does not become a teen mom, but I have to also be realistic.
You have to get close to her.
Oh, you don't think I don't?
The more.
Okay.
The more she do that, the more
I know. But at the same time, I'm also at that point is, if this happens, I'm not gonna be hard on that man. No.
It's time.
You are required to be over here every weekend with us.
This generation,
you are spending time with this family because we need to learn about you. Your family, our family, we family now. So if we going to Mississippi for vacation, guess what? You coming too. Your mama want to come too. I
like your perspective on that, because a lot of men would be like, it's just not gonna happen.
No.
And the possibilities of it can being able to happen, then that you're setting yourself up to say, I'm not accepting anything that comes with it.
No. To me, I've grown up in the inner city, so I've seen pregnant girls as early as middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So to sit here and say that my daughter will not be that person, I don't care. I could take her all the way out to fucking the burbs and she gonna get knocked up by a white boy. Mm-hmm. And that's the last thing I need to happen.
Right.
Like, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. But at the end of the day, I don't want you to feel like that you are a disappointment, that you are a failure. Still want you to be able to succeed. And if I have to take both of y'all in order to do that, so be it. So be it. I had a sister who got pregnant by a dude. Mom's kicked her out. She's living house to house, street to street, the whole 9 yards, all the whole time while she's pregnant. He was doing the best that he could to be a father. And I was saying to myself, instead of kicking her out, what if you just took him in? Imagine how much of a difference that could have made. Instead of them having to find a place where they can eat and live, what if you just say, hey, bro, you can stay under my house, but that touching and stuff,
that takes a lot.
Stop.
That takes a lot for a parent, though.
You know what I'm saying? It's a different generation.
But that's because I was raised by an old mother who took everybody in.
And it's a different generation.
Old grandma.
Generational thing where our mother scared us. Like, you better not make me no grandmother before this. Like, and we stuck to that, but that's not everybody's case. This generation, my daughter's only 7, but my job as a father is to show her the love so that she don't go looking for love in the wrong place. And it's all about how you raised your child, because if you instill those values and those morals in that child, at the end of the day, them children are going to listen to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Versus there's a difference.
Most times.
Most times there's a difference between saying, do you know kids will rebel when you give them an ultimatum, versus talking to them saying, if you go have sex and have kids, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna go do it on purpose to spite you because of what you told them not to. But if you tell them, hey, you're getting at the age where you start to feel some feelings. If you decide to have sex, I necessarily don't want you to, but if you do, I'm gonna need you to protect yourself. They are less likely to do it versus then you telling them what they're not supposed to do. They won't rebel.
I grew up in a household where my mother, being the only girl with her 3 brothers, ruled with fear. Everything was fear, fear, fear. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I did this, it was a beating. If I did that, it was taken away from me. If I didn't get these grades, this was taken away from me. It got to the point where I would get picked on, and I'm more scared of the outcome that my mother would do than what could possibly happen in this fight. So it got to the point where when I started having urges, feelings, things I was getting a little bit confused on, I couldn't go talk to my mother about it, because having this conversation could have resulted in something completely different when all I need is understanding.
Yep.
Okay. Now, on one side of my coin, moms will say she did the best she could. And I can only believe her at that. Okay. But I also know that fear doesn't work for every aspect. I have girls. Okay. When you have girls, you have to parent girls a little bit differently, because y'all go through so much that y'all don't understand while you're going through it, and don't even understand when it's done. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. So the last thing you need,
I can see that.
So the last thing you need is the male figure in your life chastising you, getting on you, putting fear in your house because he doesn't want you to be a young parent, more so than having a conversation about the results of things, the outcome of things. Teaching them that sometimes when a man or a boy says these things, it's not what you think. This boy can say he loves you and he wants to have sex with you. That could just be a ploy. Teaching them that not sexual gratification does not equate love.
Right.
And a lot of our younger generation doesn't know that. They don't put the 2 and 2 together.
Right.
They think that, ooh, this girl over here likes my man, so in order for me to make him not want to go over there, let me give him this cookie because she's known for giving the cookie. Only for you to find out that she's still a virgin herself.
Right. Right.
So you believe in what everybody else is saying other than just doing what's best for you and what's right for you. So to make sure that my daughter, because she knows this even right now, she can talk to me about anything. I actually get on her because she talked too damn much. Okay. But she can talk to me about anything. And she also knows that when we have a conversation, I want her to be open and honest about it. Yes, she's 9 years old.
You definitely want that.
Yes, she's 9 years old, but she can tell me whatever. My youngest, who's 6 or 7, tells me anything. She will have a whole breakdown, and I'll be like, well, what's wrong? Well, this is what's happening. I feel like this, and this is my situation. I don't know what's going on. And you know what? I just want to go. First of all, you're not going to bed. You got your homework to do. So
you
shut up
better
about
get on.
that.
You can.
But the fact that she feels comfortable to do this, I want you to be comfortable to do this now before them hormones kick in. Because when them hormones kick in, they be smelling themselves, and now they don't want to talk to their parents. I don't ever want them to be the one who can't talk to them. I don't ever want to be the household where you feel more comfortable telling the whole fucking stranger your business than coming and talking to me.
And that's the thing that in the African American community that we don't do. We have parents, we have kids who are afraid to tell. You know what I mean? Our kids have so many issues. They deal with peer pressure. I've never seen a generation that struggles with sexual orientation, gender identity, where you got women, little, teenage girls who want to be boys or want to transform to boys, or boys who want to transform to girls. You got a lot of stuff that these kids deal with. They deal with depression, but it's always hush hush in the Black household.
That's
or
true.
let's suppress it. We don't want to talk about it. Where These are issues that we have to address it, which these issues can lead to mental illness
And
if it's not treated.
it makes me think about my own self, and I don't like to get too personal, like not so soon.
It's your podcast. Get personal.
But
I done told so much of my business already. This ain't even my show.
I was raised I was raised by my mother, and I could say my mother and her siblings because my father wasn't around. And with that being said, my mother was a real strong woman, and she didn't believe in like the welfare system and you know getting this state assistance. Let's just put it like that. She believed in hard work, and she worked hard.
Right.
And we were latchkey kids, so we were home a lot. Me and my sister. When we got home, dinner was done. Mama was at work. When we went to sleep, Mama was coming through the door. And she had probably one of her siblings there with us most of the time. And with everything, I saw her hard. I saw my mom working. Even when she didn't have a car, I would see her walking with bags of grocery and just taking care of us. There was never a time we didn't have. She took care of us. We dressed nice. We had everything we needed as if a man was there. But even with all of that, even every Friday, she would sit down, take time out with us, have girl talk to us, have all this conversation, everything. I still was a teen mom. I met a young man. When something is missing, it's just missing. When you don't have, it don't matter what it's replaced with. Things that's supposed to happen at its natural state, if it's not there, I think a person is going to always yearn for it because that's the way things are designed to be, the way God has it. Mama and daddy's supposed to be there. I think every young lady needs something from her mother and father. I think every young man needs something from both parents as well. And when one is missing, they're going to seek that. And I feel like that's, even though I had uncles, my mom has brothers, they were all there, still was a teen mom. I was married by the time I was 16 years old. I was married 16 years the first year around.
Let me ask you this question. Why did you get married? Because at that age, first of all, marriage is far from anybody's mind state. Number two, that's real young because you almost got to get like parental permission to do that.
I did. And my mom was since she was such a hard worker, right? Since my mother was such a hard worker, she saw all the struggles that she had to endure just being a single parent and having to take care of us alone. I don't think she wanted to see me do that. She basically told him, "You're gonna marry my daughter."
Okay.
And at that point, it was like I was young, and you know how they say you're just young and dumb.
Well,
you don't really, your mind ain't developed enough to even know. Don't do this. Hold up, wait. And sometimes at that age, and you went that far, nobody really can stop you at that point. It's like you got to learn on your own. And my mom knew that, and she like, you're gonna take care of her. And I can say that's one that, even though I had to walk away from that situation, and it was.
But how old were you when y'all finally got divorced?
I was in my 30s.
So
early 30s. Very early.
So you went through all your 20s with this person?
Yep.
Okay.
How much older was he?
5 years. So the whole situation, and that's why I say I don't like to get personal because it's a lot to me. And I have a book that I have written, and
we're gonna unpack this later.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be on this show.
I've written a book.
It might not even be on this. we unpacking that because there's a lot there.
I've written a book, and some people have had the advantage of reading it. And it's there. And some people I've gotten feedback or stuff I've heard. Why hasn't she released it yet? That's my business. And it's gonna be released when I am ready. And I had a wonderful coach who, because so much of my life is in that book, I had a beautiful coach, and this lady, she was telling me, once it's out there, it's out there.
True.
You release your book when you're ready. Mm-hmm. And that's what I decided to do. And I didn't let certain people read it for proof. I just know there's going to be some more editing because I have so much more maturing to do. You never stop maturing, but I have so much more growing to do. You never stop growing. And I know that I'm going to want to release this book one day at a time when I'm ready, and I want to put some more edits to it. You know what I mean? I just feel like
you're not supposed to edit. You're just supposed to read a second book. I'll
do a second book, but I want more in that book. And the book is called Don't Get Mad When I Tell. And then the second one will be Don't Get Mad When I Tell Too. So I do want to go there. I want to
You
release the
should change the
book.
title to Hold Up, Let Me Finish.
We'll unpack that package later. But I do have a book that I've written, and I want to release it. But when it's time, and there's no lies in that book. For those that has questions, I've heard it all. It's true. So if it's coming when I'm ready, it'll be a whole book release and everything. And I will answer any questions that anybody that has questions, and you are all invited. This book is just, it means so much to me, and there's a lot in there, and
I
I'm
don't have
giving
no
it I'm
questions.
giving away a whole lot. You will later.
You said something
But-
about your mom. Parents do that a lot too, where they want to live their hopes and dreams through their kids, which I think becomes a concern as well. Where because they didn't have that man figure, oh, they want that for their daughter. I want that for my daughter. Well, that man necessarily what's best for you. They're parents trying to figure out what's best for them through you, but you probably marrying him probably wasn't in your best interest. But
A
because
lot people have their say so, and that time in my life there was a lot of different things that I had to hear, and people had their different opinions and everything. But I think my mom had struggled so much until she just wasn't willing to see me go through it.
I understand both POVs of this.
Yeah.
I could see those who was like, "Oh my God, how could you let her?" But at the same time, I can also see why that option was the best option for her. Is your mother Southern?
Yeah.
Okay.
Born in Mississippi.
Exactly. I had a feeling of that. Reason why I say I had a feeling of that is that's a common thing from those who grew up in the South. When you
She
knock,
didn't grow up in the South. She was born.
but she has a Southern daddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yes. Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Hear me out. Okay. I know where you're going. Hear me. Let me go through this. There is a thing that when a child has become pregnant, that child is no longer a child. Therefore, that child no longer is supposed to be single. But man made that decision to get my daughter pregnant. You are now going to be responsible for her, because in a normal Southern mentality, there is a conversation that is had, damn near a bargain. Okay, I hate to say this, but women were bargained off in the South. You want to marry my daughter? What do we gain from this situation? So the family has to get taken care of in order for the daughter to be married off. So being the fact that even though there was no bartering being done in regards to it, you wasn't just gonna be pregnant. You
Right.
wasn't just you gonna be in her life, and you gonna be married to her, because one, this kid is not coming into this world without having both parents. And two, you are going to be responsible for her. And the only way to guarantee that is through marriage. Because when you see the ones when they get pregnant, they ain't got no, at that young age, he could have easily disappeared and you would have never seen him again.
That.
Okay.
And he wasn't even from here, but not even that. Even when I did decide to divorce, because I did divorce, it was my choice, for so many reasons, and that's in the book. When I did decide to divorce, everything that came with that, I was to a point in my life, and I was financially stable enough that I think I denied alimony and everything. I took child support because of the kids, but alimony was 16 years. And I didn't want alimony, and the judge looked at me and he said, oh, he was so angry because people have all these different outlooks and and their opinions on what this thing should have been. But at the end of the day, I was ready for independence, even in my adult life, I've only been single a year my whole life, in my adult life.
And the thing
So
about,
with that being said, you would think that I would need a whole lot more support and things I grew and learned a whole lot from that experience.
Okay, let me ask you this. Since we're talking about relationships, what made you say, I want to get married again?
because it was done right this time.
Yeah, I have to say that.
Being the fact that when you were prearranged and forced is two different things. So I want to make sure I clarify that first of all. Okay. Prearranged just means that mom and dad of the two households sat down. It's like, my daughter and my son, we're going to betroth you two together. And through the whole entire time, you guys are planning as parents to make this a successful union. Whereas she was in a forced marriage. Okay. Hey, you had one good night of fun and you got my daughter pregnant. Now y'all going to be together forever, kind of a situation. You grew as a woman, And I think this is the one thing I feel bad about, that was your childhood not only was taken from you, not because you became a parent, but because you became a wife. You did not have the opportunity to truly learn what a wife duties were, because you didn't have a chance to truly learn who you were. You didn't have an opportunity to learn what you didn't like without having to take him in consideration. So the whole time you're learning how to be a wife, while you're also learning how to be a woman, while you're also learning how to be a mom. That's a lot to be stacked on top of you. Surprised you didn't kill him, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Because I didn't either.
You may have paid somebody else to do that, but that's a whole other, because that's a lot to take on as a young person, especially coming into your 20s. You had to do at least the first 5 years of motherhood and wifehood without having legal alcohol in your system. Okay. But I think that once you realize what you were as a woman, that's when you finally came to your conclusion, like, I don't want to be here no more. I know what I don't want.
Right.
Okay. At the end of the day, you may not know what you want because you've only experienced one person, especially being a woman of God. You definitely wasn't going to step out on him any shape or form because of the way you were properly raised. But you knew at the end of the day what you did not want, what you will not tolerate, and what love should not look like. So when you actually finally found somebody who not only was 90% opposite of him in every shape or form, but presented not only stability, but love in its purest form, you knew right away. That's why it only took you a year to be single, because you knew what you didn't want. And when you finally had somebody where you didn't have to deal with all the bullshit of people pretending to love you, but you got pure love from the jump, it made it easier for you to make your decision.
It did. And you're absolutely right in everything that you're saying. And when you jumped in and said that, I really didn't have to think. And sometimes everything ain't negative, and I don't look at every experience that I've been through, because once you read my book, you're gonna look at me way different, because I've been through a lot. And I still don't look at every situation as a negative, attribute to my life. I feel like it's preserved me. I feel like I learned a lot. And then when I came out of that marriage, I felt like, dang, when I was single for a little while, I was like, dang, this world is way different from what I projected. I felt like I got a little wild in the mind and thinking, oh, I got to get free and just do everything, But I think it preserved me a lot.
That's normal, though. Because
I do. I know it's normal.
It's normal.
That I do. And I didn't punish myself for anything for it. But I feel like God it has his time, and he does everything on purpose. He allows what he wants, and what he doesn't want, it won't happen. And with that being said, some things may just look terrible and horrible. You have to know that what happens in life is only allowed by God. He can see everything. He knows everything. You wonder why it's not you, or you wonder why it is you. Don't even question it. And I can say that after you read my book, you're gonna sit back and say, sometimes that girl been through a lot. How is she sitting here still? With even the half of the mind that she has left. It's because of some of the things that I've gone through. I learned to take it as a positive attribute to my life, rather than saying, okay, I'm just going to keep beating myself up. I am not worthy. I'm not, I could have done a lot with what I've been through. I choose not to. I chose to persevere through all of those things and know that I can be loved. And what I projected after that is what I got back. And that's why I was blessed the second time around. He had to put up with some BS, but I was blessed the second time around on the outside, with that situation, and he knows a lot about it. And I'm very boisterous about it. It's nothing I try to hide from the world. I can't wait till I have that stamina and I feel perfect about my book. I probably never will, but I'm probably 70-80% there. And when it happened, we're gonna have a good time.
So my question: Did you write the book just to be writing, or did you write the book for people to know the world? Because you said you're releasing when you want to, but it's like, what was the intention of you writing the book?
The intentions of me writing my book, the biggest reasons I'll say, is to help other women. Like, some of the things that I've been through is just unheard of. Like, seriously.
So
seriously,
why
did you go through this?
So I'm picking on it because you're saying I release it when I want to, but it's like, okay, that's cool, but it's like if you're using that book as a way to help as a tool resource to help women, why continue to keep putting it off? If the
Because-
book was intended to help
because
other people.
because I have to be mentally stable to support whatever it is that I'm trying to do with this book. If I'm not mentally stable in my mind to say this is what I'm releasing, I'm saying I'm going to try to help women. When the questions come and women have questions, I have to be able to answer those questions and help women. That's number one.
This is my interpretation. This was originally your journal. And as you start to journal more, you start to get a little bit more in depth. When you went back and read your journals, you started noticing that there was a lot of people saying a lot of things that you were answering. Then you dove a little bit more deeper into it to make it something that people on the outside in looking in could understand it. The thing about it is you're not ready to truly expose yourself 100% just yet. Because even though the book is there to help, it's also going to drum up feelings that you may not be ready for.
The last part is 100% true.
Okay.
But it didn't stem from journaling, which is I didn't journal because I couldn't face some of the things I had went through. So that was one of the reasons. Okay, so when I was able to talk about it, I started having problems. I thought that talking about it would help me a lot. Just like I've been through this and I've been through that, and this is what I've been through, that kind of thing. 4:45. We getting close. Okay, I'm gonna start wrapping up because these conversations get really good.
Because you love talking to me.
But anyway,
That's why you be dragging me in. I be
What's-
minding my business,
started
trying to work.
happening
And you
was-
be dragging me in.
at first I was secluded and I seemed like this real strong person to everybody, right? Even with what I had gone through, I had to be tough. You know, like this is what I went through. So what? It didn't do nothing to me. I'm normal. Then when it started to bother me internally, and mentally, it just started doing something to me. I started letting it out and talking about it to everybody that I could, you know, getting it out. And that was from a Caucasian therapist that I was seeing, right? Talk to somebody about it. Get it out. Don't be scared to talk about it, right? So then when I started doing that, I think I went through another stage of mental illness where I was dealing with it on another level that should have happened a long time ago, you know, and then that happened. And I decided to see it. And I kept saying, I don't need therapy. I don't want to see nobody. Ain't nothing wrong with me. There was something wrong. And what had happened to me did definitely, it affected me. So then I heard multiple times, you need to see a therapist, see somebody, you know, before you know. And I did. And finally, I was able to see somebody who could relate to me. And she told me to start journaling. That's where my book started. And I did not journal. I said, I don't want to journal. I don't want to write it down. I don't want to face this. I don't even want to talk about it no more. Then I decided to write the book. She said, if you don't want to journal, write the book then. Wrote the book, started writing it down. Confidence started coming back. I started building more confidence in the book. I found out through the book that nothing, like a lot of this was not my fault. It happened because I'm a person. That person is a person. This person is a person, and we're all different people. And that's where a lot of my confidence came from. I started bringing back that person that everybody knew a long time ago before all of this started happening. And then I had to start maturing all over again with that. So, yeah, it started with some form of journaling. But I think it helped me a whole lot writing that book. And it's going to get to the point where it's like, and I've heard people, different opinions, like maybe this ain't true or this. People are going to deny stuff, and that's fine. But what happened to me is what happened to me, and it's going to come out. It's going to come out. I don't hide that kind of stuff. And if it's my business because it happened to me. So it's coming out. That's why I wrote the book. Being bold, being me, letting it be said.
Okay, you need to prove it to me.
And a lot of women need to hear it because they go through so many different things and they blame themselves and they transform into this person with no self-esteem and just depression just eat them up, all because of things that people did to them. It's not fair. Shut up. No. Write the book.
Oh, my
Release the book.
I don't write books. I do movies.
Okay, we need to do movies too. That's the next part of the production.
I do movies.
You might want to write a movie off this book.
Nah. because my vision and your vision ain't gonna be the same vision, and you're gonna be upset because I didn't took this story and blew it all the way up, and
Some
you
Color
wasn't
Purple
re-
type stuff.
you wasn't ready for that. I need to actually watch The Color Purple again. It's on Netflix.
That's a good movie.
I read the book, and the movie bothered me because the book was so much more better.
Yeah, it gave a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, it opened up on some bullshit, so that's how you knew the book was gonna be good. But anyway, what are we talking about next week?
Next week we're gonna touch on some stuff that's been happening here in Milwaukee. A lot of discussion here in Milwaukee. We've been talking about the Dahmer case, and we're either gonna bring some people on, or we're gonna have someone very close to me who's giving me a whole lot of information on his experience living there. He's related to me, living in the Dahmer's building. He's not willing to come on simply because he doesn't want that type of attention, but he did give me a whole lot of insight on what it was like living in the Dahmer's building. And we're just going to talk about the effects that it has on us as a city. Him living here.
Are you gonna watch the documentary on Netflix just dropped?
I've done a little research and I've seen a little bit of it. It's kind of hard for me to watch.
Not the series that everybody's been watching. They just recently did the confession tapes.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yep, it's new. So basically, for Gacy, Dahmer, and it's one more. They literally have like 3 episodes of each one of them where they're telling their stories in the interview. So there's a person that came there while they were, being held during the trials and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just doing all their confessions. They're talking and they're interviewing and just basically telling everything as is. So when a lot of people who watched it was like, I don't believe that's true. How would they know this if they wasn't there? Because he actually told them everything.
Yeah.
Dahmer never had a trial. He just literally had, I did it. I confessed. Here's what I did, all of these. What's my sentencing? Kind of a situation.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and I think that it's having a big impact on people everywhere. There's actually a serial killer out here right now on the loose that they're talking about, and it's streaming everywhere. I think that it needs to be talked about, and I think that people need to figure out what it's going to do to us as a I just don't even want to say community. It's just Milwaukee's just going to be a ground for where these things type of things happen now as a people all over. That's what I should have said, as people all over, because now you got people out here that's looking at this situation in many type of ways, and everybody mind ain't stable enough to listen and watch this stuff. Remember, he was looking at other people too.
That's a conversation.
His experiences and everything came from some of the things that his father saw him, cutting up animals and different things like that. He took that in his mind and translated that to doing that to people.
So he talks about a lot of it. But with that being said, how can people find you? What's your links? How does people be able to see you on IG?
So I'm here live on Instagram every Sunday at 3:00. I'm on Spotify, iHeartRadio. I'm on YouTube. And that's about it right now. I should be on Facebook too, but I'm not uploading anything there. I'm not a Facebook fan, but I do need to put some things there just for those who don't have Instagram. But every Sunday, 3:00, tune in. We have really good conversations. This was more of a closeout for relationships, and we've been talking about it for the last 3 weeks. And I kind of wanted to close it out, give people a little bit of insight on marriages, why they end, different things that happen in relationships, and how we can work through them. I don't know that we got anything as far as resources.
We've all been in a relationship. That's our resource.
Or I don't think we were able to really help anybody other than being able to talk about it.
We'll be back.
We will be back.
All right, with that being said,